Welcome back to our class. Don't forget to subscribe if it is your first time to visit our channel. Today we're going to be looking at plant tissues. Last time we looked at the different types of animal tissues. So today we're going to look at plant tissues so that now we can go to the organs. Plant tissues. What are some of the different types of plant tissues? Plant tissues are divided based on the kind of the cells which are present in this tissue. Which type of cells which are present, then that will give us the classification of these tissues. So we are saying that these tissues are divided into meristematic tissue, and then you have the permanent tissues. When we talk about meristematic tissues, these are tissues which have ability to divide. They're undifferentiated. They have ability to divide. They have the ability to change into other forms. While the permanent, it means that they are differentiated, they are done with modification. They cannot modify into another cell structure. So that's why you're saying that they're permanent. They are formed, they are what? It means that they are old. If you look at a baby has ability to modify, become flexible, which is not like a person who is of 60 years old. It means that that person has grown up, cannot change the way that person is there. That's how it is. So these tissues, the meristematic tissues, they have the ability to change and they can undergo cell division, while permanent tissues, they don't have the ability to do that. So if you look at meristematic tissues, we have what called the apical. These ones are found at the apex, at the tip, on the top or bottom of the what? Of the plant. Then you have the lateral, the lateral. These ones have the ability to increase in sides. Yeah? They have the ability to increase. And then you have the intercalary. This one, we find them in mature cells. But for this case, we're going to be looking at apical and then lateral meristematic tissues. We will ignore this. Then on permanent, we have what you call simple, the one which are just one cell, which is parenchyma, collenchyma, and then sclerenchyma. These ones, they have different modifications and they serve different purpose in the plant. Then in the complex, if it's not simple, if it's not one cell, then it's more than one cell, which becomes complex. You have the xylem and then you have the phloem. We will find out that one is responsible for transportation of water and mineral salts, while other is responsible for transportation of food or manufactured food. So let's look at the introduction. All plants are made up of, number one, meristematic tissues. Those are the embryonic tissues that make new cells for growth. So it means that these cells that have ability to grow. Number two, permanent tissues. They have the meristematic tissues and then you have the permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, these are tissues that do not have ability to divide and grow. It means that they are fully grown. They cannot modify into another special structure. They develop special structures for specific function. We're going to look at them and then we will understand them better. This is how they are located. Meristematic tissue, you'll find out that here you have the lateral, the one which increases the size. We say that we are not going to look at this one. And then you have the apical meristem. The reason why it is being put here, just to show you where it is located so that you don't confuse with others. So this is apical meristem, and then this one is lateral meristem. So these are divided into two. Number one, apical meristematic tissue that make the plant to grow longer. So if you want the plant to grow taller or longer, then it means that it's the apical. It comes from what the apex, as I told you, which means the tip. So if the plant is to grow taller, then it means that the plant is supposed to use what you call apical meristem. And then you have the lateral meristem. These tissues make the plant to grow thicker or wider. It means that if you want to be thicker, yes, you may not be growing taller, but you might be growing thicker. Like in this time, we can say that someone has gained weight. It means that he has become bigger. If you were a plant, then it means that lateral meristem are the one which are being used to increase your size. But if someone is growing taller, if you're a plant, for example, it means that the apical meristem is the one which is acting in that regard. So, structure of meristematic tissues. Number one, we are saying that these cells or these tissues, they are thin, they are very thin. Thin-walled, immature cells, it means that they can mature as they modify. Immature cells that divide often. Cells are tightly packed in the layers and rows. So they are packed. It means that they can grow to give each other space. Then they have no intercellular spaces. There are no spaces in between these cells. Then there's a single large nucleus. Its nucleus they have only one nucleus, and then it is extremely large. Then you have dense cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is dense. It has a lot of substances in it, so that it allows it to grow. It could be small or no vacuum at all. If it is not there, then it means that its vacuum is very small if it is present. Because sometimes, or in most cases, the vacuum are not yet there because the cell is still growing. Here is the best example. It's very packed. It's very packed. You see, it is no spaces in between. Yes, very packed. But as it continues, it grows. So here is when you magnify it, it looks like this. Yes, it's like a hexagon, very big nucleus, no vacuum. Then the nucleus is very big. Why? Remember, the nucleus controls the cell's activity. So it's supposed to be big so that it can control of this cell. And then the the cytoplasm is very dense. So this is how the meristematic tissue looks like. And then they can modify. You can modify into different structures. So what about permanent tissues? When you look at permanent tissues, these ones, they can't modify. Dermal tissue, these ones have, they cover the plant. It means that at the outside part of the plant, that's why it's dermal. Dermal means it's like a skin. Then you have the vesicular tissue. These ones, they are very important for transportation. When I look at them in their categories, we have the ground tissues. These ones, they fill spaces between the epidermal and the vesicular tissue. So, and then they perform other functions. So it means that they can also perform other functions like storage. So you have the dermal, the one which are found at the outside layer of the plant. Then you have the vesicular tissue. This one is very important for transportation. For example, the xylem and phloem. Then you have the ground tissue. These ones are very important in filling the spaces between the epidermal cells and the vesicular tissue. However, they also have other functions. If you look at them, you have this outside part. You'll find out that you have the dermal cells. Yes, there's dermal cells here. Let's look at one by one. Dermal tissues. This one covers the plant. When it covers the plant, we are saying that sometimes it's called epidermal. Epi means out or up. Yes, so it is sometimes called the outer layer or outer skin. A single layer of tightly packed, thin-walled cells. We have seen, if you look at it, tightly packed, yes, and it's one layer thick. It covers the plant, for example, the cuticle, which protects the plant, and the cuticle prevents too much water from being lost. So an example, you can look at the cuticle. The cuticle, very important in protecting the plant. In the roots, it increases the surface to absorb water. So epidermal, it can be modified. It forms the roots, and then this root can be, it increases the surface area for the absorption of water from the soil. So here is an example. You have this is the plant, but if you cut it cross-sectionally, you'll find out that there is the outside layer. If you look at this part, yes, just cut just the outside part. The outside ring is what you call the epidermal layer. So if you carry it and then you magnify it, it looks like this. Yes, so it means that it has the ability to extend. When it extends, it forms what you call the root, or what you call the root hair. So the outside part is called the auricle. It's very important in preventing the water from being lost. Very important in absorbing of sunlight. It allows sunlight to go through. It's also very important in reflecting light if it's too much. Dermal cells, these are the cells. You see that it's one layer thick. Yes, we have the guard cells. These guard cells, yes, they have been modified into guard cells, so to allow air to go in and out of the plant. So basically, this is just an illustration, just so that you can understand the epidermal cells clearly. What you see immediately when you look at the plant, you are looking what you call the epidermal cells, or the dermal cells. Then you have what you call the ground tissue. Ground tissue include, so you have the parenchyma, the collenchyma, the collenchyma, and then the sclerenchyma. So they have the parenchyma.